Sorry about that.
All right, welcome to our Zoom social hour again, guys. I do thank everyone for coming. This week we do have our special guest, my SOFA director, New York State Office of Aging Director, Greg Olsen. And
Morning, Greg.
you know, it's pretty great to have Greg here, and we are honored and privileged to have him join us. So when I sent out my email invite for our roll call this week, you know, I did ask everyone, you know, minus, you know, Irene and our phone calls in, to prepare. So I like to think beyond COVID, because yes, this is what we're doing. I like reminiscing. So if you can go back with a memory from 2, 3, or even last year, if you can remember last year, I'm better long-term memory, something that you were doing at this point. I'll start out and I'll say, okay, 2 years ago, I actually wasn't working for the office here in Cortland County. I was, you know, in between, as I spent 14 years at the Y, I was at Family Health Network. So I spent a couple months before I was graciously offered an opportunity to meet with Liz at Family Health Network at one of the local medical clinics. So if anything, in that little bit of 3 months that I got from Family Health, it was HIPAA compliance. So I learned a lot about HIPAA compliance in the medical field.
I was at the senior meeting last year at this time.
Actually, we were at the senior picnic.
That's right. Wednesday
Both of
morning.
us were.
You were at the club picnic.
So yeah, let's go around. Again, I'm Matt, and give us your memory. Nancy, since you started, you're at the senior picnic.
No, at the meeting.
Oh,
yeah,
at the senior
it might
meeting.
have been the picnic last summer. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, on this day last year, we were at the Homer Waterworks for a club picnic.
Yep.
And it was hot, just like this.
Everybody.
Is this frozen?
No, it's just not sure.
I think we're all at the same place. That's why.
Yes.
Bill Hopkins, what were you doing?
I was visiting Sister Kathleen in Cincinnatus and enjoying her very much, and the people out there. And I was also involved with Alzheimer's as the support group facilitator.
Okay. Deb Walls and Doug.
Yep. Hi. We were in Canada last year.
Oh, yeah, we were.
Something we do every couple of years. We don't have like a family reunion up there.
Nice.
Well, myself, my memory is only about 10 minutes. I don't remember what I was doing 2 years ago.
You're 8 minutes longer than I am, John.
Only laughed at him, not me.
I don't know. We can't see it. We can only see 9 people for some reason.
Yeah, we have a bunch of people on. Like I said, it's just the gallery view. Let's see. Tom, how about yourself?
Last year, like they said, we were at the picnic. 2 years ago, we were at Del Lago on a senior trip.
Tom does our trips here for the seniors.
Yeah, so.
Well, July 15th, we go back again to Del Lago, only we're not going.
It's a good plan.
Good plan.
All right, Chris, how about you, sir?
We have a summer cottage in Canada, which we always go to. And this year, the Canadian border is closed, so it's impossible to get there.
Oh, dear.
Sad.
Yes,
it's a first world problem.
Been at our cottage, and yeah, this is the first time in, you know, almost 100 years.
Wow. You don't look that old, Chris.
I'm not quite old, but you know, I feel it.
Did you learn the proper use of the word a or Z or?
Pretty good. Audrey?
Well, I was at the senior picnic also last year, and this year I'm at home, and I did a trip to Watkins Glen, just a day trip. And my husband, about a week ago. And about in a couple of weeks, we're going to do a camping trip up to Key Wagon outside of Alexandria.
Great.
Nice.
All right. Bob Tucker.
Yeah, I kind of forget. I think it was last year we went on a tour of Russia, went from Moscow to St.
Wow.
Petersburg and the Viking Tour.
Wow. Nice.
All right, I think that's
Got another
Nancy
Nancy.
S. down in the corner.
Sharon.
Yeah, it was me.
Yep. So
I was
Oh, you
I was
got 'em.
probably at the
Good.
meeting too, so.
Thank you.
all right, and Sharon.
5 years ago today, I became a great grandmother.
Oh,
There we
wow.
go.
Nice.
And a year ago today, the Meads honored my grandson with a fire truck.
Oh, yeah.
I was just looking at those.
He was so excited. He was driving around the yard throwing candy out like he was at the parade.
I was just looking at those pictures on my phone, Sharon, a year ago, memories. So that
So
was fun.
excited. Now Bernadette thinks she's going to be too. She can do everything. She thinks she's going to take over.
Of course. She'll be a good woman.
Oh, yeah.
You have to see this fire truck to appreciate it because it's a monster.
Oh, dear.
Sprays water, sirens, lights, the whole bit.
Yeah, it does. Anybody that's on Facebook, you can, and friends with us, you can find it. It's just amazing. He takes his friends on rides. He loves it.
Great.
Irene, what were you up to a year, 2 years ago?
Well, it kind of looks like I might have been at the picnic as well. I guess we all were.
Yep. Irene, Greg, just so you know, she's one of our recipients of our animatronic pets that, you have sent out. So, we thank you for that.
That's great.
You're welcome.
How do you like your pet, Irene? We love hearing direct.
You're a little, you're not coming in clear, Matt.
How do you like your pet?
Oh, my little pet?
Yep.
Well, she seems to be doing good over here.
What's
And
her
we
name?
get a visual.
I got it named Kitty.
Clever.
Well, if we have time, I'll tell you the story of how they came to be.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
We have
my
left
daughter
Gary
did-
and, oops.
I could have shot my daughter for doing this, but she did it.
Oh, that was nice.
Daughters
I'm
are always
thinking
thinking
about-
about you.
I'm thinking about giving it to a friend of mine that's in Misty Glen, and she's not going to be coming home, and she had to put her little kitty to sleep, and she's so upset.
We still have a couple left at the office, so definitely work with us. Give us a call here, and our Caregivers Resource Center will be able to help you out. So
Great.
then you can still
Yeah,
keep
the only-
Kitty, and your friend
The
can
only
have one
thing
too.
is, the only thing is, I don't know if you can go in now. I don't think you can.
No,
For
you
the nursing
can't.
home.
Bill.
So,
Yeah, I didn't think so.
But I will tell you,
Well, thank you.
we still have to talk to Gary and Linda, but we are planning a parade in partnership with the Cortland County Sheriff's Department and the City Police, and you will all be notified. We are going to work with the nursing homes and just let those folks know that they are not forgotten. We
Oh,
very
nice.
much value them. So information will be coming. Matt and Cindy are kind of leading that up right now, and so we just want to let those folks know. Portland
we are
County
definitely
loves
getting
our
details.
residents.
Oh,
That's great.
Oh,
That's
that's
great.
Super.
Thank you.
Good idea. Good idea.
Yes. Yes.
Matt,
Yep, I'm listening. I'm here.
I have a question.
Sure.
I can see myself, but I'm all in the dark, and up in the right-hand corner, I see it says mute and three little dots. Do I need to click on
So
it?
what it is your camera is looking at the light in your background. If you adjust your
Window.
camera around, it'll fix your light in your room. So if you
What
take
did
it
I-
away from the window,
Okay, if I just pull the curtain, will that do it?
that'll work too.
Hold on a minute.
We're holding.
So
We're
like you
all
said,
learning.
Gary and Linda, we were trying to catch them for 1 or 2 years, or did we hit you up already, Gary and Linda?
We were early. We were early.
Okay.
Still
were-
in the dark, Matt.
Now she's dark.
I'm in the dark.
Now you're darker.
You are.
You need a light on.
Move to the other side of your table.
Dick Stock usually was our dark visitor for these meetings. Dick was unable to make it today. He does send his apologies. He had to quickly run out. Just so you know, Greg, Dick is one of our county legislators as well that participates on these calls, active with our center.
And we have Mr. Newell with us today. Thank you.
That's great.
He's our legislator.
So Liz, Cindy, you guys are next.
I was on the Cape Cod 2 years ago. Yeah, and I wish I were there now, but not the case.
This wasn't exactly the same year. It was a couple of weeks ago, but I was thinking driving through Cortland the other day that this time of year is when the senior games, generally we're just getting
Right.
over here in Cortland.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
About that.
Yep.
I have one more caller to call in. I got the 756-5854. Who's hanging out with us down there?
Eleanor Reynolds.
All right,
Oh,
Eleanor.
hi, Eleanor.
Hi,
So,
Eleanor.
Hi.
I don't know why we
Hi,
can't.
Eleanor.
So Eleanor, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, what's different?
Hello.
Homebound.
Homebound. Do you remember
Yeah.
what you were doing back then?
Well, we were at the picnic. My husband and I, Jerry and myself, we were at the picnic in Homer.
Yep. So
I don't remember 2 years ago, but last year we were at the picnic. So it was about a day like this, hot. So
You're right, Eleanor.
Yeah, it was not.
I'm inside where it's nice and cool, so I'm happy about that. So I want to thank Audrey for coming by and tapping on my window every so often. We communicate that way. So I appreciate that, Audrey.
I'm glad I got someone I can tap the wind off.
Yeah, there you
Well,
go.
I am too. Our
There you
doggy
go.
really appreciates. Tyler really likes it a lot. He always looks for you.
So
So this is
that's great. One of the things that we are doing here, we have our farmers market coupons. We are distributing them now, and as Irene can attest, we actually have another specialist out at her apartment right now, and she was concerned, but we told her, Irene, we will get you your coupon.
I already got them.
You already got them. That's awesome, Debbie. Debbie got you. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I want to thank them for the sanitizer. It's really nice. The bag is really, really nice. Thanks, Liz and Cindy.
Yeah.
You got a care package, it sounds like. Good.
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Little
Cindy,
care
you want to
package.
explain the care package a little bit and how they came about?
Sure.
Maybe.
Yep.
Cindy froze.
You froze. Hello?
Oh, we're getting there.
Liz froze too.
Yep,
I
I
froze
see
too.
Liz's smile. Yep, there we go. And we got it back.
So through coordination through various outlets, we were able to put together care packages, which included a mask, a small bottle of sanitizer, and literature about our agency that we're open and we're here to assist. And to date, we've distributed over 2,000 of these to people 60 or older in Cortland County. We partnered with a lot of the towns and fire departments and legislators to get them out to their districts. And then through our emergency management office, we also have
Pros.
He froze. If I'm not froze, I can tell you we distributed over 1,000 masks to the under 60 population because the Emergency Operations Center was able to send those to us. So we did receive masks. Greg got masks out from the State Office for Aging. And again, I think I mentioned in the past, we had a lot of community support. When you could not find masks, we were working with a lot of our partners to make sure that we got masks out to our employees and to those of you over, to the population we serve. So it's been a great partnership with many different entities. So yeah, they're still here. So please pass the word out. We have lots of masks and sanitizer. I didn't freeze.
Nope.
Good, good.
You got that there. So yes, the care packages were good. I did promise everybody that I would share a little bit of screen, some farmer market locations. So this is our current outreach schedule. Right now, we are, Debbie Chavesty is at the Port Watson Commons parking lot. We'll be at the Pomeroy School Apartments this afternoon. John, where is your closest location? You were asking me about farmers market coupons earlier.
Yeah, I live up by Footy's Freeze.
Okay, so as we move down through here, obviously you can pick them up at any site, but coming back into Cortland, will be July 14th, Tuesday morning at the Cortland Farmers Market from 9 to 10:45. Okay, John?
All right.
And we do have a little bit of our rules. Everyone to get a ticket has to wear a mask. We're encouraged. We gotta bring your own pen because you will sign on the document to receive your coupon, and we will have markers for social distancing. We still want everyone to stay 6 feet apart. This is about everybody's safety and our most vulnerable. I want to keep seeing everyone here on Zoom and eventually here at the site. So, and I know everyone here is practicing good social distancing. So, we do appreciate that.
Matt, this schedule is online on our Facebook page and our website page, correct?
Yes, it is. It is online on our county website and on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We have them all there. Of course, anyone can call us. We do have some call-ins here on the thing. So, 753-5060, we will set you up with your closest outreach location. Once we do all of our outreaches, then, we can try to manage pick up either somewhere around the county office building after, July 28th when we're all done here.
Matt, I know a lot of people look at Channel 2 on Spectrum for a lot of the stuff that the organization puts up. Is that
I'll
on
see
there
if
too?
they throw something up. I'll mark that down.
Good thinking.
And we are getting the word out in the outlying areas as well. So we're doing our best to get the word out to those people who don't have access to internet. So
Good.
Are all the same farmer market locations available? Because somebody that I spoke to said that Homer wasn't going to have a farmer's market.
So here's the difference. As I'm still sharing the screen here, we aren't going to be in the centers. We're keeping everything outside this year.
No, I meant the actual farmer's market, not
Oh
the
yeah,
coupon.
the Homer's Farmers Market isn't happening. They canceled that.
Push this back now.
Oh,
So,
okay.
but we
town
still
hall's
have
right across the
different
road.
spaces in Cortland.
Matt, I don't know if you have posted this yet, but we did get something from the state.
Freezing. Where'd you go?
This is just some
freezing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of the reasons, that what we have back up here is we do get you froze, Cindy, but we got something from the state, and then you did this.
The hands. Yeah.
We have a listing of all the farmers markets, so we can post that.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Yep. What Cindy's talking about is the availability of the different farm stands and markets in the county. So yeah,
Good.
so we can post that as well, where you can get them.
Where are you gonna post it?
Farmers market.
I got an email with it yesterday.
You said,
Oh, good.
You did?
Yes,
you said,
Matt set it out.
Oh,
So do we still have Greg to go and turn it over to him, Matt? Are we ready for that?
absolutely. Mr.
Okay.
Olson, you want to take the show and then,
Right
we
here.
bring up some questions?
Matt, take us back to
Sure,
full
happy to, but my father's not on the line, so you're gonna have to call me Greg.
Oh, good one. Got it.
So it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invitation, and I think Liz and everybody at the Cortland County Office for the Aging, and really all of them have just done an amazing job. I got to be honest with you. It's quite inspirational to see. I've always known the value of this network. I've been doing this now for 27 years. It's hard to believe. And I think, hopefully if we come out of this with some type of new normal fairly soon, I really believe that the whether it be the county execs and all the managers, the local operations center, emergency operations center, all of the health plans, the managed care organizations are really going to understand how critically valuable the offices for the aging were. But I do want to say where I was 2 years ago, because I take my girls for a week up to Gorham, New Hampshire, which is right pretty much at the base of Mount Washington. I've been doing that forever, and we normally do some hiking. They have an awesome fair for the 4th of July with fireworks, and then we go down to, I don't know if anybody's been in Albany, they used to have Storytown in the Lake George area. The original Storytown is in Conway, New Hampshire, which is on the other end. And so we always go there as well. And so this was the first year, we haven't been able to do that. So I definitely miss it. And I think what you guys are doing here today and staying connected, particularly in a county that probably has some spotty cell service, as I live in Albany County, and Albany County does as well, I think is really a great thing. I do want to tell you a little bit about the pet story and how that came to be, because again, I started my career as a case manager for not an office for aging, but a contractor in the ISEP program, which is a program that Cortland County runs as well as everybody else. What seems like a very, very long time ago, and then worked in a variety of places to get to this position. But there's nobody that I think recognizes how important the work is of the offices than I do. But 2 years ago, my daughter now is 12, so she was 10 at the time, and she is addicted to dolls and stuffed animals. So here's what that really means in my house. It means I have 5 garbage bags full of brand new stuffed animals that never get played with, right? There's a select few of 4 or 5 of them that stay on the bed, but I constantly am buying these things, and they have a day or 2 shelf life and wind up going in a bin. So I came home from work one day, it was in August, and she had said to me, "Oh, Dad, I was on Amazon and I bought this cat. And it's going to be here right before we leave for vacation in 2 weeks." And I said to her, "Oh, that's great. I can't wait to see it." And I'm thinking to myself, here's another animal that's going to go into the stuffed animal bag. And so the day before we left on vacation, I came home and I saw the animatronic cat. And I was like, holy cow, this would be the most amazing thing to try to pilot with some of the counties to see if it has an impact on social isolation and depression. And so I think I had a conference call with all of the counties and invited whoever was interested to participate in this pilot. And I wound up buying 30 cats and 30 dogs. Forget how much I spent, but I'd asked the case managers to implement a 6-question isolation scale prior to adoption of the pet, and then at 3 months, 6 months, and 12 months. And what we found after 12 months, and this pilot was about 19, 20 months ago, was that 70% of the people who adopted the pet had a significant reduction in social isolation after 1 year. And one county actually implemented a pain scale along with the social isolation scale. And 4 out of their 5 adoptees went from a 9 or a 10 on the pain scale to a 1 or a 2. And I was really astounded by that. And so, when this pandemic happened, you know, I decided to buy 1,100 of them. You have a masked intruder.
Richard Scott.
Oh, there's Richard.
I
just wanted to make sure you weren't getting robbed. So I bought 1,100 of them, and we've put them all out over the state. It's really been amazing. I am on I'm a consultant for the state of Alabama, North Carolina, Ohio, Florida, and you know they're selling these nationwide. And it's just really been the most amazing thing. So I reached out to the company. It's called Joy for All, and said to them, "Hey, how have your sales been going since you partnered with us?" And they said the sales have been going off the charts. And I said, well, then you can do me one favor. You can create a calico cat and name it after my daughter, the Anya cat. It's Anya. And I said, that's what I want. You don't have to give me a discount. Of course, they haven't done that yet. But, you know, that honestly is a true story. And I've seen now assisted living and nursing homes and federally qualified health centers and just the general public really, you know, purchasing and enjoying these things. So it's been amazing. They did just come out with a kitten, and it looks bizarre. The head is too big, the body's too small. So I wasn't really a big fan of the kitten, but the cats and the dogs, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I
really
think
nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Irene, go ahead.
It's really, really nice, particularly when you turn it on. It goes through its little antics when you touch its head. It's just like a real cat. Matter of fact, I had someone come in and he stopped short. I didn't know you had a cat. And I said, I don't have a cat. He said, yes, you do. I said, go over and touch it. And he was pretty shocked to see what that cat could do. But
it is quite amazing.
It is. It really is. And somebody that is by themselves, it would be a lot of company because it does meow and it does purr.
And you don't need a litter box.
Nope, you don't. And what I like about both the cat and the dog is if you don't want to listen to the voice, you can still feel it. Like if you have a hearing impairment or you don't want to hear it meow, you can still feel the heartbeat or you can feel it purr. So, you know, it's pretty cool.
It is.
So I'm really glad you're enjoying it, and it's been like I said, it's been a great project. Low amount of money for a big impact.
Oh, it makes a lot of difference. It really does. Yeah, and I'm sure these nursing homes would just love it.
Yeah, many of them have been. You know, we've been posting all the pictures that the counties have been sending in of their adoptees and their pets, and some of the counties have done adoption certificates. Along with the placement, which I think is a cool idea. So like I said, it's great. So it's going to be interesting to see where we all go. It's, you know, we were able to get the state of New York an additional $73 million out of the federal stimulus to help, you know, Liz and staff provide many of the services that really have become in demand: home delivered meals, groceries and supplies, prescription drug delivery, transportation to appointments that you have to keep, like cancer and dialysis. And then, of course, you know, trying to combat social isolation. But I think, you know, moving forward, it's stunning to say the least, how wrong other states have been in their response to this. And I am just hopeful that, you know, we saw the 2 week after Memorial Day surge. You know, what's going to be the 2 week after the 4th of July surge? Are those people going to be coming to New York? Are we going to have another spike here because of some of the inattention to detail in many of the other states? And then how long are we going to be in this because of that? It's really been an unfortunate to watch this every day and look at a lot of these other states who just, you know, didn't do this science-based is really a shame. And, I think we're all ready to get back and have been for a long time to whatever normal is. I don't know what that even means anymore until we have a vaccine that's widely available to everybody for free, frankly. But, things like this, I think we're going to have to figure out with the Older Americans Act. That's kind of our mothership where we get our federal dollars, and then our state budget. We're going to have to be thinking of new things to advocate for, where we can purchase this type of equipment, where we can potentially purchase buying broadband or Wi-Fi for individuals, how we can teach folks who aren't as adept as you are at getting on and doing things like this until we are out of this. I'm very fearful not of older people, not just for older people who are isolated, but I have 2 little kids and this is impacting them hugely. There's no softball, there's no summer camps, there's, no neighborhood kids to play around, there's no concerts, there's no plays. And, for me, I'm an outdoors person, so it's impacted me a lot less than a lot of other people, but, I'm really fearful of the child abuse, elder abuse, depression, anxiety, alcoholism, and all those things that result because we're very oriented towards being around one another and not being isolated, but being connected.
Greg, I can't compliment you enough. One of the greatest problems we have with the elderly, or anybody really, it could be a single person or with 3 children or whatever, is the isolation. And this is what we do to people in prison. We isolate them. That's a severe penalty. But people need to feel that they have a role to play, and even a plant. We have some wonderful research with the work done by Bill Thomas, who graduated from SUNY Cortland years ago, giving people a canary or some kind of bird in a cage kind of thing, and they're responsible for it. I have a role to play in life. I'm functional. I'm valuable. People depend upon me, or somebody of the life form depends upon me. And it's just phenomenal. I'm so excited by what you're doing. Thank you. Thank you.
No, and I think your point is right on. And, one of the things that has bothered me in this job prior to COVID is, I see it with my kids, I see it with my staff, is the overuse of technology and the underuse of picking up the freaking phone, right? And excuse me, I didn't say the other F word, but I could have easily gone that way. What this really allows or really heightens is that old school connections. Even if it's for a half an hour where, whether you're, Eleanor said a year ago she was homebound, but that doesn't mean Eleanor couldn't call two or 3 people, and those 3 people couldn't call, 6 other people, and just how important, to your point, it is just to stay connected, because you're going to go crazy and bad things are going to happen. And, I'm hoping that, New Yorkers always seem to pull together in times of crisis and emergencies and floods and all of those types of things. And there's really a momentum here to, talk to Cortland College and to talk with the retiree groups and others so that we don't lose the momentum on connectivity.
Yeah, it's a 2-way street with the retirees at the college, but also we have 6,000 students, and many of them have find it valuable to be caregivers or care partners, I prefer to say, with somebody to just read as part of a story or to play a game of dominoes or something. And that changes their attitude towards seniors, that they're not just drooling on a bib, etc. And this is my grandma, this is my grandpa, what kind of thing. And the connections are just beautiful that happen. So I think you got a real hot thing going.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'll bring up, hopefully I don't freeze, another program our agency developed through all this is the Pen Friend program. So it's like a pen pal program, but you don't need technology. You just need a pen and a paper, and we'll match you up with another person 6 years older in our community so that you have that connection. So let us know if you're interested in that.
Or Arizona.
Yes, we have someone from Arizona that wants to be a pen friend here in Cortland.
Awesome. Tell them to stay home and wear a mask.
Yeah.
Wear gloves when they touch the envelope.
It'll take a week to get here, you know.
How is the pen pal response, Cindy?
We have last count, and there might be a couple more since 38 people interested.
Okay.
And we have at least 18 people matched. We're still waiting for some forms to come back. So.
Wow.
That's interesting. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, so it's been good. We've had advertisement out there, PR, and we are getting.
Oh, there she goes.
There she goes.
There she goes.
Yeah, we've been getting a bunch of different, advertising, public relations to push out the Pen Friends.
Good.
But, initially we got more responses from outsiders that wanted to come in and support with our seniors. So then it was up to us to reach out, to our seniors to make these connections. So.
Good. It's a lost art. People just don't write anymore, even a card, and that's too bad.
Well, it's not too bad if they can't write.
Our school district organized the students, it was the K through 8, to do cards and artwork for many of the facility-based folks here. And both of my kids participated in it. It was awesome to see what they did. And you drop them off at the library. They had a big bin, and then they distributed them around. And, just a little gesture like that makes somebody's day.
Nice idea.
Like your parade. I love the parade idea.
Oh, that parade's so exciting. Oh. It was done a lot with the graduates of the high school. We adopted students and sent them one to enrichment, and then something special at the end because they weren't in school. So as the seniors, it's amazing. Great thing. Sign me up, Cindy. I'll write letters.
Okay, Sharon, I'll add you to the list.
Thank you.
So, Liz, do you have any general agency updates you want to share with the group, or?
I guess the biggest thing is we are to piggyback on the social media, because we've talked about internet, virtual, and we do have this available by phone, but we continue to struggle
with freezing up. We got that. Liz can see the recording later. I hope, she could handle this.
I know, it looks like she's sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
All right, Liz, you want to try again?
Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
30 seconds or less. We are going,
Oh, dear. Yeah, she's going in
So
and
it's
out.
less.
We are working with our, Wi-Fi here at the county office building as we look at different technology solutions for us. So just like you guys, we, Greg mentioned, purchasing broadband. Internet is obviously going to be a key issue, especially in the rural counties, much less here in the city. So you didn't even get 30 seconds, Liz.
I think one of the things that would be helpful for us, and I know Liz knows her, but we have a new executive director that represents all of the counties, and we're doing caucus meetings. And that just means we're getting a bunch of the county offices in a region together. And one of the things we're hoping that can bubble up is if you guys can identify some of those things. And what that means to me is, what I would be doing now for the Older Americans Act and the state budget is looking for some additional revenue that's directly tied to technology, purchasing, training, platforms, and delivery of service. Now, that's not going to replace face-to-face, but it's certainly going to be part of the new normal. And so, we need to be thinking about, would Cortland County need 2,000 tablets? In areas that don't have internet, could we preload content on there for individuals that don't have access to the Wi-Fi? And then just the whole opportunity for others who, may be willing to do something like this, but don't really have the resources to buy the stuff, might need some training. So I think that those are things that that I'm really interested in. And I'm also very concerned about the county budgets. We're hoping to know by the end of the month if the next stimulus package has dollars to bail out state and local governments. Because if the answer to that is yes, I would feel much more secure. If the answer to that is no, that puts a lot of pressure on Liz and staff in figuring out, you know, what does that mean for local staff? What does that mean for service delivery? How do you target reductions? What are the areas that are acceptable and what are not? And those are very, very difficult decisions that, you know, are going to have to be made over the next couple of months. And I think for the most part, most of the offices for the aging have been left alone for the most part because they've been recognized as so essential during this pandemic.
Be on top, sort of.
Absolutely. Liz, you want to try again?
I was trying to type the chat in there.
As soon as she talks, she starts
You're
freezing
good for
on us.
5 seconds.
Poor Liz.
So, Liz, we're doing our best. You know, you are freezing just as you start a conversation. But do you want to try one more time or just move on?
I say uncle.
Uncle.
Maybe she should disconnect and just call in.
Yeah, that's always an option too, calling in with the phone still is. Then you can give your update that way as well.
I'm just going to chat it. You can give it.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
I just want to add something that's happened to me, and that is I let people know about the tablets and the pads, and I've gotten people who are the clerks at the drugstores or wherever, and they say, oh, I have 2 in my dresser drawer that I haven't used forever. And it's amazing the ones you can get for free from people who say it'd be a great use of them because I'm not using them at all. So there's ways in which you can. I'll stop.
We might be
That's
able
a great
to
idea.
put a press bulletin out on that. So to let more people know, because I'm sure there's quite a few that are in the nooks and crannies of some people's homes.
Yes, indeed.
Yep. Thank you, Chris.
You know, that's a really good point. And the same thing with cell phones, right? As long as you have a Wi-Fi connection, you can use an old cell phone as a computer. So that's a really good idea.
In fact, that's what I do for my daughter. You know, as I was
Same
working
here.
from home and schooling, she, you know, was on her spare time when she wasn't doing her schoolwork. You know, she could be on Netflix or, you know, chatting with her friends, FaceTiming, stuff like that through the old Android that I had.
Good idea.
So one of the things that we're also working on, and I don't think we've talked with Liz or this region yet, is there's 2 organizations that have pretty sophisticated senior center without walls projects where they're literally running program from 8 a.m. until 10 p.m. every hour, all kinds of fun stuff from, you know, cooking to photography to the opera to religion and everything in between. They also have an 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. 24/7 access for people who are caregivers or who are insomniacs who just want to connect with somebody else. And so we're working with these organizations to be able to offer that program free of charge to every county office for aging, every subcontractor, and the general public, hopefully by the end of the year.
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
I would like to bring something up from Sister Kathleen, my buddy out in Cincinnatus. And it was a letter that some of us received. And she's going to have meetings weekly of people in the community who are interested in getting involved, of where we should be tomorrow. Because what we found out with our current situation is that we were late. And what changes do we see coming down the pike that might be good for us to prepare for? So for example, might we have some more social events, and not necessarily formulated through any office of the aging necessarily, although that's been good, certainly not knocking that. But the idea is that getting people to be motivated from their own, to be proactive instead of reactive. so that, and then to form units of people. Oh, Margaret, by the way, I'm going to the cookie social this afternoon. Would you like to come with me? That makes all the difference in the world as opposed to going by yourself. So there's all kinds of ways that we can tap what's going on in the communities. There's phenomenal creativity out there, and we're not using it to our best advantage. So I'll just bring that up.
Well, you're right. And I think the key word you said is active. If you're not active, your health is going to decline, your physical health, your mental health. And so being active is critical. You know, I think, I don't know where you guys are in thinking about your senior centers and congregate sites, but if they reopen, they're not going to be anywhere near the capacity that you had before. So, you know, some of those options to congregate and connect aren't going to be available for everybody. So you're right. I mean, you do have to be thinking about the different ways. And again, I hate to keep saying old school, but it really is about figuring out new ways to connect differently. But the staying active is exactly right. If you're sitting home and you don't keep your mind active, you don't keep your body active, you decline very, very quickly and wind up someplace you may not want to be.
That's why we need that center open. Our senior center, we miss it. We miss it. And that center is so active. And your bones get the creak, and when you're there, you don't have all that, and you just miss it. And you miss the people too.
Yeah.
Right.
So as you know, we go forward. You know, like I said, I wish we could have got Liz to chime in here. She called Uncle, so you know, Liz is an active participator right now, or passive, I should say.
We are having a meeting tomorrow morning at the county office building at 8 o'clock, and I'll bring up that point. I don't know what our timetable is to open up the center at the county office building, but hopefully we can push that ahead a little bit.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I think the counties have been in various levels of thinking that through. I know that New York City, for example, has no intention of opening anything up until next year sometime. The entire North Country Caucus, they're not opening up either. However, Schuyler County opened up a couple of their sites 2.5 weeks ago. Monroe County, a couple of their smaller census sites opened up, and they're going to monitor that. So I think that regardless of your guys' conversation, it can be done, but it has to be done in a way where 100% of the protocols are followed to the letter of the law. People can't show up without masks. The staff need to be screened. Temperatures need to be taken. You have to wear mask and PPE. If you're doing food service, you have to wear gloves. And the same thing with the people who are entering, the 6 foot, the social distancing, the disinfectant. That puts a lot of additional administrative pressure just to have all that cleaning done of bathrooms and things like that. But if you guys are able to do something like that and follow those protocols to the letter, it can be done safely. But I think a lot of folks are worried about the potential risk. Again, you got risk to staff, to family, to community, and then of course, you know, the risk to the customer and their family as well. So it's not an easy decision. But the protocols, you can't be short of 100%. You know, if you do decide to at least test it on a 25 or 40% basis or whatever it is. You know, we only have 25% of our staff in the building, but we're not, we're not interacting with the public here every day. I think the max I'll allow back this year is 50%, and then we'll see where we go based on what the state metrics look like.
So 25% of our club would be like 15 people, which, you know,
that's an activity.
Yeah, and then how do you determine which ones are the 25%? You know, is it done by lottery? Is it done by, you know the customers better than I do? Do you prioritize? Do you do something on a rotating schedule? There's a lot to think about. And then what happens when that person comes and says, I'm not wearing a mask? So, and this is a true story. last Thursday, I was on a call with the North Country Caucasus region, and the St. Lawrence County Office for the Aging got a call from one of their individuals who was really pressuring them to open up the senior center. The county director was very reluctant to do that and was trying to have a conversation about why that is, and the risk, and you don't want to infect anybody, and there's a lot more to it than just opening up. And again, I'm not playing politics here, but this is what this person said to the county director. I'm not worried because this virus only impacts Democrats. That's what this person said.
Oh my God.
The fact that we
Really?
could be 4 months into this and there's still people that think that way is really so what happens politically, right? When somebody shows up like that, and how do you deal with a person that because you're going to see it. There's going to be people in your county who get their news from places that may not be telling the whole story or downplaying the virus. And how do you deal with things like that? So it's just something to think about as well.
Great story.
Yeah.
I just learned, Greg, the other day that the earth is flat. Somebody suggested I go out to the beach and look to the left and the right, and do I see a curve? No. Well.
Right. Thought we put that one to bed a while ago, right?
No.
We've been signing in for the last year, or taking temperatures is just one more thing.
Yeah.
We're pretty good at that center.
Yep.
Everybody is so good, and everybody helps everybody.
That's right.
If a person needs help, they're right there for it. And this is one of the best centers I've ever been in.
And you go to the Cortland Center, right, Irene? Just to clarify.
You bet I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't go to Homer.
Well,
when we get through this, we're going to have a bridge competition or something between the centers. Let's see.
We miss the cards. We miss everything.
And cards probably present a whole different option for you too.
Oh,
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, and bingo. We have so much going on there. I could talk and talk and talk. It's a great
keeping
center.
everybody
It
safe with
really,
cards.
really is.
Yeah.
Oh,
can't play
and
cards.
everybody looks out for everybody, and
Yes.
that's the best part. And if you have a problem, you can sit down and talk with one of your friends, and it's just great. It really is. And this last 4 or 5 months, you really don't realize just how much you miss until it's gone. So we got to get it open.
So Irene, let me ask you a question, if you don't mind. Let's
Sure.
say the center opened tomorrow. Would you go in there and play cards tomorrow?
You bet I would.
Like, how would you do that with 6 feet apart? Would you not be worried? What about touching the cards?
No, I wouldn't be, because I have sanitizer, and I use it on everything. I would not be afraid.
Greg, I think cards is a bad example. The shuffleboard you could actually do. I mean, shuffleboard or even
You
the
could.
remote. Things where you can segregate people, you can sanitize the pucks, you can sanitize all that. But certain activities you could do because they're smaller groups. You have 8 to 10 people. I mean, it's just
Right.
it's further down the road, I think, but it's coming.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you. I think you could do bingo. I think you could do shuffleboard. I think cards, dominoes, chess, checkers.
Sure.
So that would be that would be tougher.
Mm-hmm.
Could you use the auditorium where people could sit at a distance, and you could at least do bingo? You could hold it in your lap, and you could accommodate people in that atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
It all comes back to training.
But then you've got to remember that somebody has to sanitize before and after that room was used, and that's a lot of scheduling and.
So, Eileen, I'll call
That's
you back, okay?
Yeah, there's more than just showing up.
Right.
We are at 10:56. So, I encourage you, if there's a quick question for Greg, as we got him on here right now, feel free, let's, get a couple quick questions on. If there's anything anybody else wants to add up, and we'll be going from there.
Greg, are the other senior centers that are open, they're doing the 15% of people coming in? Is that correct?
No, it's really based on their census and their space. So it would be no different than what I had to do in the office. I physically measured every floor and every cubicle to make sure that they were at least 6 feet away. So the Schuyler one that I use as an example, they were the first ones that I know of that opened up in about 2 weeks ago. But you guys know Schuyler County, it's very, there's not a huge population base there. And so they were able to bring folks in, but they had to rearrange their space to make sure that people were 6 feet apart. And then again, putting all those protocols in place. It's going to be much more difficult depending on where a site might be, if it's in a church or something else where you might have had 40 to 100 to even 200-300 people. And then how do you do that? So, I think what's not new is the guidance. The guidance has been around for 4 months now, and it's really, figuring out, as you had mentioned before, if you have the 6 feet, if people are wearing the masks, if you're doing the screenings prior to, using the hand sanitizer, and then doing the disinfecting, it can be achieved, but I don't think you can slack on any of those types of things. So the census is really going to be dependent upon your space.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, let me pick up from what Greg is saying. We do more from emotional influence than intellectual influence. So people make donations out of their heart, not their brains, for an example. And the more that I participate with other people and call them up, hi, Margaret, how you doing? I was wondering if you would like to, do X, Y, or Z. Somebody cares about Margaret. Somebody feels that she's alive and she's a friend of mine, kind of thing. So the more, and the cats that we talked about, Greg, the pussy cats and the dogs, whatever kind of thing. And God knows we'll have children soon. That might be a blessing. But the idea is that sorry about that. My father was a sailor. But the idea is that we have to show our love and caring for other people. And that is, you cannot emphasize that enough, okay? So you're my friend and I care about you, and to say that. And as somebody said, to do a handwritten note, that beats word perfect like crazy kind of thing. So the more we do that, which we would like to have done to us, old-fashioned idea, it really has an impact.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you.
I know one of the things that some of the counties are doing is surveying their senior center customers to see, who would come back. Because I think, Irene, there's folks that are in your school, and then there's folks that are not coming back until there's a vaccine. And so it would be even interesting to know, even from a few different counties, if you guys flip the lights on tomorrow, again, not suggesting you are, but if you were, who would come back and how comfortable would they be? And I think it's a mix or match. I think that there's people that have been home too long and they're ready to come back. And then there's others that are, that are afraid.
Yeah. And, one of the things that we are highlighting here is, the Cortland County AAA, we are going to be purchasing some mailing lists so we can, send direct mailings to our seniors that we're not reaching right now, who don't have internet. Our newsletter will be going out shortly, by the end of the month is my goal. So that's, we want to make sure that we can put all the engagement activities that we are doing and are able to do to the outlining areas. So very important to us.
Yeah, I think you can get that free from the Board of Elections.
And there's another option, Liz.
Thank you.
This is why we bring the big director, Greg.
At the survey we talked about last week, has that been mailed?
No.
Actually, the survey has been mailed. Chris, you might wanna, are you able to talk about the survey and the mailing?
Is
legislator mailing? I got mine.
tomorrow.
I'm sorry?
I think I froze.
No, yeah. There you
Now you're back.
Tomorrow morning when I have a meeting with Liz, we'll review that.
Okay. I know I received an application in the mail recently for the Cortland County survey.
So you live outside of the city?
Yes, I do. I live in Lapeer.
Okay. Because we've sent 800 surveys out. We've had really good response online with that survey. And we should know the middle of next week as far as the overall attendance of people coming back with their surveys. Should be pretty interesting.
Yes, I should think so.
But I encourage everybody that's on this phone call, if you can either go online and take the survey, or you may get something in the mail, but really appreciate your feedback.
And just keeping on time here. I know we are 3 minutes over. I do appreciate everyone coming. Next Wednesday, we are here again, 10 a.m. So I encourage you, invite a friend, let me know. Last minute, I'll allow a share an email invite. But yes, we want to do these, these Zooms, as much as we can. And if we have to, and we are only at 15 or 25%, why can't we bring the Zoom right into the center that is open so we can still see our friends? So
yep.
I thank everyone for attending. Mr. Olsen, it was a pleasure. Greg.
Yes, thank you.
So
Thank you.
thank you, everyone.
Thank
I'll
you
let
all
you
for
get
having me. It's
going
been a pleasure.
and have a great weekend. Okay?
Thanks, you guys too. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate
Not a
it.
problem. Enjoy. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.
Oh, then we're getting all these other people that we didn't see before. Why is that?
Because so many people are signing off.
Bye, Nancy.
Bye.
Hey, Matt, don't go yet.
Don't go yet. Okay, I'm
So-
still here.
So on our screen only allows us to see 9 people. Is there a setting we can change?
So there's, there might be like a little swipe back and forth. You might be able to swipe a little bit on the Zoom app.
Yeah, I tried that.
Because I know I have a Fire tablet at home too. So, and Abby, my daughter, used that when she was doing her 4-H Zooms. So there was like a little swipe option. There might be more.
Maybe because I'm on an iPad.
Yeah. And I don't know. There has to be something. Like I said, the Fire tablet was, what I got a while back just so I can watch Netflix. And it's cheap. So.
All right. Well, thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
everyone for coming. Bob, you were able to participate. Wasn't this exciting?
Yeah, it was good to hear people again. Thanks for helping me out with the audio
Not a problem. I
problem.
helped Bob out yesterday. I gave him a quick call to just get him set up so we can figure out the audio. So our little tech support as we go. But again, thank you everyone and have a good day and a great weekend, okay?
Same to you. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, man.